Yo, 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 what's going on, everyone? Welcome on into a DFS strategy video for the 2026 Genesis Scottish Open. My name is Eric, and I'm here at SweetSpotDFS to go over all the things you're going to want to know on how to target the optimal lineup this week. I will be transparent. This will be shorter than usual. Only because I don't have a lot of time to go through this, but I still want to provide a video for you guys, give you some information and what to do for this week. So yeah, appreciate you all being here watching. This is a live stream, so as people come into the chat, I will be answering them at the end of each video. But really, I also want to provide this as a reminder because I like to do giveaways, which reminds me, I actually forgot to put in a different giveaway video. So let me do this really quick. And I want to show you guys because I'm doing something for the Open Championship. I do this pretty much for all major championships, and it is a win the pot giveaway. Okay, so we'll put this up on the screen. I'm doing a win the pot giveaway like I have in the past. It starts at $20, and for every one new subscriber, I will add $2 to the giveaway. I'm currently at 966 subscribers, so if we get, let's say, 10 more, we'll get at, this channel will have then 976 subscribers, and therefore I will add $20 to the pot, because for every one new subscriber, I add $2. So again, a little reminder that I like to do these types of giveaways. In order to gain an entry, all you got to do is be subscribed. Comment down below on any of the videos that I put out from here during the Genesis Scottish Open all the way through the Open. I'll be creating more videos for that. It's just a way to reward you for rewarding me. So that is how you gain your entry. Also, I have a link in the description down below that if you are interested, you can read or you can watch to see how to get more entries for any of the other giveaways that I do. But I will be doing this giveaway on July 14th, which is a Tuesday, at should be 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, not 7. 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that is what you guys can expect from me for that giveaway. I also do weekly and monthly giveaways. We are doing a monthly giveaway today because this is the first Tuesday of the new month. So I'll be giving a membership to SweetSpotDFS.com to somebody. And then also, I'll be doing a weekly giveaway, which is $5 in cash. I'm going to go back to that other giveaway. I apologize for not mentioning this. If we can reach 1,000 subscribers by the Open Championship, I have an additional giveaway that I'm running. Here, I'll show it to you guys right now. I have this SweetSpotDFS.com giveaway. It's the website that I'll be showcasing all of the data that I go through, all of that stuff for you guys. Go create an account there. That's how you get an entry into this giveaway. And once this channel reaches 1,000 subscribers, I'm giving away $1,000 worth of giveaways. Now, if you look in the little box there, it says 1 lifetime membership to SweetSpotDFS.com, 1 annual membership to SweetSpotDFS.com, and then 2 $100 cash giveaways. If we can reach 1,000 subscribers before the start of the Open Championship, which will be a Thursday morning, technically, but a Wednesday night, I will double all of those giveaways, actually. I will double all of the giveaways. I'll give away 2 lifetime memberships. I'll give away 2 annual memberships. And I'll give away 4 $100 cash giveaways. If we can reach 1,000 subscribers by the start of the Open Championship. Just throwing that out to you guys. That'll help the channel out. And again, it'll also help this pot get even bigger. So it's just more and more that you guys can win by helping promote this channel, by subscribing. If you haven't already, go create yourself an account at SweetSpotDFS.com. Go do all of those things. And that way we can get closer to getting to 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Okay. That's all that I have for these giveaways. I will be building lineups here at the end of this video for anyone who has a badge next to their name in chat. So I see Logan's in chat, Joanne's in chat, and so too is AJ Love. What's going on, guys? So if you guys want lineups built, I can do that a little bit later. This is a different type of week. This is a DP World Sanction event along with a PGA Tour. It's a co-sanction event, I should say, which makes building lineups or just kind of going over a strategy for this tournament a little bit tricky. So I think the first thing to get into is the golf course and the tournament information. I actually forgot to say all the things I'll be covering. It'll be the golf course tournament information, pass optimal, and GPP winning laps, but really it's just going to be a salary conversation because of Scottie Scheffler's $14,000 price tag. We're not really going to get into the buckets. The only thing that I'm going to talk about the buckets is really for the projections I have, wherever Scottie Scheffler is, we are going to soften the projections for the buckets that Scottie is in. Just throwing that out there. And then we'll get in the Marquee Tee Times and build lineups at the end. That's what I'll be covering. So before I get into the golf course and tournament information, I'm going to talk to the chat. I said hello to everybody, but again, hello. Guess what, Eric? I would give you the shirt off my back, even if you are running a shorter stream today. Let's just have quality over quantity. Yeah, absolutely, man. Did you get your shirt, Logan? Because you were supposed to get it today. Joanne, good evening to you. And also, Joanne, just to let you know, my hat order is completed. I have to go pick it up. So I will have hats for you soon. I'll try to pick them up Thursday, maybe Thursday, and maybe I can send them out Thursday, Friday, somewhere around that time. I'm not quite sure when I'll be able to send them, but I will have hats. So I will get you your 2 hats that you wanted. AJ's driving home from a gig. Wheels Up says, I plan to help you get to 1,000 subscribers. I'll wear the shirt and am going to send my subs over to the Sweet Spot on Thursday for best ball. Sweet, dude. Appreciate it. Got it yesterday, and I tagged you on Twitter. Oh, okay. Well, I will say this, just a reminder, I was playing the Minnesota State Open. I did not play that great, unfortunately. I've practiced myself into a wrist injury, and that wrist injury was just nagging enough to where I wasn't putting very well, wasn't hitting that well. I mean, I wasn't hitting my irons good enough to get them close to the hole to make easy birdie putts. Instead, yeah, it was a struggle. Let's just put it that way, which kind of stinks because I also have a 3M Open qualifier that I'm going to try to qualify for, and I need to figure this whole wrist thing out. So, anywho's, that's also why the stream is going to be short. I couldn't get through everything because I just got off the golf course 2 hours ago and it was a grind. Here in Minneapolis, it's very hot and we had to walk. So, I mean, I was already drenched in sweat. I was tired. I'm still tired. But yeah, it was fun. It was a good experience and just didn't play good enough to make the cut. So anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the golf course and tournament information. Okay, as I was talking about in the intro, I went over how this is a co-sanction event. This is a PGA Tour and DP World Tour event. I have data that goes back to 2022 when this started to become a co-sanction event. This tournament is older than 2022, but it was only a DP World Tour event from that year or 2021 and back. I think Minwoo Lee won it in 2021 when it was the last DP World Tour only sanctioned event. And then Xander Schauffele was the first winner when it became a PGA Tour and DP World Tour co-sanctioned event. So just throwing that out there. That's information that you're going to want to know, because there is technically more course history for other golfers. I'm kind of leaning on the whole fact that tournament history is the thing that really matters, because whether or not this actually is a, what would you call it? It might be played at the same golf course, and a lot of the same DP World Tour players end up playing this golf course. The fact of the matter is, when it becomes a PGA Tour event, different golfers come to this event. A different aura is put onto this event. A different feeling comes about with this event. So going back in the past and looking at some of the past winners here, those are against DP World Tour golfers, and maybe one or two, maybe 3, 4 PGA Tour players who are trying to get kind of a practice round in on link style golf courses before heading to the Open Championship. And don't get me wrong, there are still people that use this tournament as kind of a practice round, a practice tournament for the Open Championship, which is next week. So just throwing that out there, because it is one of those things that I think you want to keep track of. Now, I will say this. I personally do not like building lineups for this type of an event, because I don't know who's taking it super serious versus who is, you know, here just to hit shots on a link style golf course, just to see how low they can go, or what type of strategy that they need to deploy, or anything like that. So just want to throw it out there. I'm not absolutely confident in building lineups for this type of an event. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't be either, but if you're hearing it from me saying I'm not comfortable and say you're not comfortable, limit your exposure this week. I know there's still money to be won, but it is tricky. It's difficult, because there's a good chunk of DP World Tour golfers that are playing this event that are going to be in contention. I'll go over the lead-in stats a little bit later on in this video, but it is something worth mentioning that, yeah, I guess I don't need to beat the same drum over and over again. Just be cautious, because it's not, I mean, Chris Gotterup won here last year, and that's before anyone knew he was like a good wind player. But then you find out he's not a good wind player. It's just when the wind isn't as blustery as it could be, that's when he plays well. But like Bobby Mack winning it in his own national championship, that was great. And you could see someone like that winning this event. Rory McIlroy, you could see someone winning this type of event. Xander Schauffele, it's not that you couldn't see him winning this type of event. No one really knew that he could play open style championships as good as he obviously did in 2022. So, it's just kind of, you know, like even when Bobby Mack won, it wasn't one of those, we all knew it was going to happen type of thing. It was like, oh, this is kind of cool. This guy who isn't that great of a golfer. And by the way, when I mean that, I'll put him in like a B tier, maybe even a C plus tier type of golfer, C plus, B minus tier golfer. At that point in time, it's like, nah, you don't really see that happening. But sure as hell, here, you know, he obviously, he won the Canadian Open, I think, right before, or did he win the year after? I don't remember off the top of my head. Either way, yeah, you're going to get some surprises here. And then you might not get any. Maybe Rory runs away. Maybe Matt Fitzpatrick is the golfer that you want to play. Maybe some of the DP World Tour golfers are golfers you want to play. Or you have John Rahm and Tyrrell Hatton in the field. Maybe they're golfers that you want to play, because, you know, they're good enough, obviously, but you don't really see them outside of major championships. And because it's a DP World Sanction event and they don't have the same strict criteria that the PGA Tour does, they allow live golfers to play. So anyways, just throwing that out there. If you want to research, I would recommend coming to SweetSpotDFS.com. You can go wherever you'd like. I obviously want you here, but use the data points you see on the screen. And in fact, come to this website, go to tournament stats, type in Genesis Scottish Open. All the points of data up here, all these little summary boxes are data points to use on your research. And just to see what that looks like on this website, if we were to take average winning score and let's say average cut score, just those two pieces of information. I usually don't ever use these two as ways to go about this. But then we go to a tool called like the strokes gain stats. And that's what this looks like right here. I have filters to the left of these pages that you can use. Yeah, fantasy stats, tournament stats, course stats, grass stats. Go to tournament stats, drill down on that. And then down here, I've got winning score. So if you wanted to do something like between -10 and say actually, let's go -14 to -18, I think is, or -12 to I think that's probably the best way. And I need to do it the opposite way. I gotta go -18 this way and -12 this way. So we can go here, and this little summary box that's up here on this page will give you all the golfers in the field this week, the rounds of golf that they have, and then who are the better golfers with these stats. You sort by strokes gain, whatever stat category you want to sort by. I recommend strokes gain total. That's going to give you the best, performers on these or in these conditions. And again, I'm only using winning score. So when the winning score is like this, Tyrrell Hatton plays well, Scotty Scheffler plays well, Rory McIlroy plays well, Alex Fitzpatrick, Tommy Fleetwood, the list goes on. These are your top 10 right here. We could get a little bit more narrow with our criteria and use a cut score of say let's go 0 to -3. So even par to -3. And when we even go further down than that, we get Rikuyu Hoshino, 4 rounds of golf, no strokes gain stats that were recorded. That tells me that's probably a Barracuda or I should say ISCO. Oh, it's the Butterfield Bermuda Championship in 2025, where he finished 8th. So that had winning conditions as well as cut conditions the same way. But then you see the top 10 right here. Scotty Scheffler, Tommy Fleetwood, Nikolai Højgaard, Ludwig Åberg, Andy Sullivan, Matt Fitzpatrick, Rory McIlroy, and then 2 other DP World Tour golfers and Richard Mansell and Grant Forrest. Now, again, you can use this however you'd like. If you don't want to use those as criteria or filter criteria, more power to you. You don't have to. You do not have to. There's so many filters on these tools that you can use to your disposal however you would like. So that's a tournament going into the golf course. It's the Renaissance Club, and the yardage is around 7,300, par 70. Tom Doak is your architect. Fescue, all over the place with fescue. So again, you could come to any of these tools, grass stats, scroll on down to the greens. Hey, let's look at fescue. Who are our best golfers on fescue? Maybe we want to open up the date filter to go a little bit longer over time, and you'll see the amount of rounds of golf that each of these golfers have. So the more the better. That just shows you on average they're just better performing on those. But you get Rory at the top, Chris Goddard with 10 rounds of golf, Scheffler, Fleetwood, Lowry, Tom Kim, Smallhands Tom Kim, Xander Schauffele, Tyrrell Hatton, Ludwig Åberg, and Jon Rahm. Names you would anticipate seeing. Maybe not so much Tom Kim, maybe not so much Chris Goddard, but most of these other golfers probably. And then you get to see their price tags and what you would like to do with those. So throwing that out there. And by the way, if you drill down at any of these golfers' names, you will see the tournaments that applies to. It is mostly Genesis Scottish Open and Open. Those are the only times you're going to get fescue greens. So take that for what it's worth. Maybe it's not good enough for you guys. Maybe it is. Up to you how you want to use these tools. So in all honesty, that's all I have when it comes to the golf course and the tournament information. I just wanted to put out there that it's a co-sanctioned event, and I want to go through some of these stats, how to use the website with all the filters. We're going to move on to the pass optimal and GPP wing lineups, but first I'm going to take a look at the chat. BMAC is here. We're back. Let's go. Only playing 4 lineups, says AJ. That's smart. Don't mind me. We got a hair in our mouth somehow. There we go. Double J, what's up, man? Hello, I made it. Glad that you're here. My player pool this week: Tommy Fleetwood, Corey Anchor in almost every single lineup. Koepka, Siwoo Kim, Sung Jae, Matt Fitzpatrick, Goddard, Norgard Moeller, and Eugenio Lopez Jacara. Okay. Seems good. Seems good. By the way, I should have said this in the beginning. Byron and I killed it. Absolutely killed it during the John Deere Classic because of our preview show that we did Sunday night. Neither one of us were available this last Sunday to do a preview show for this tournament, but honestly, I don't even think it would have been worth it, because like there's not a lot of years to go back and look at lead-in stats, but maybe there's enough to actually make it worthwhile, I guess. I mean, I'm still going to do it in this video, kind of do like a little mini preview that we typically do just to go over a lot of the stats that we did. But raise your hand if you use Mac Meisner during the John Deere Classic. I told you he was like 100% in my lineups, or not so much 100%, but in the majority of my lineups. Who also used Doug Gim? Like, those were like anchor plays. Chris Goddard was also a golfer that fell into that. Actually, here, I'll just show it to you. Let me show it to you guys. I'm going to put in the John Deere Classic. And we have stats for 2026. I'm going to click the little bucket icons here and go course history 1, recent form 2. These were your golfers. Remember? Remember us going over these? Chris Goddard, Doug Gim, Keith Mitchell, Jackson Koivin, and Denny McCarthy. Now, I did play quite a bit of Jackson Koivin, but I didn't play 100% of Jackson Koivin. He missed the cut. Denny McCarthy was here too. He also missed the cut. But Chris Goddard, Doug Gim was kind of like pick 2. It's kind of what we said. I had said, I'm going to do all the different combinations of each of these golfers. So I did have a lot of Chris Goddard and Doug Gim, and that alone helped me win a lot. And also, like, it was 100% on Mac Meisner, which had a lot to do with his strokes gain stats. Because every single year we saw, if I went to strokes gain last year, we basically saw guys with all stats positive. You know, here's Mac Meisner here. Positive off the tee, positive approach, positive around the green, positive putting. And it was like we went up and down. Who were the best off the tee golfers? And then we went to the best approach golfers. I can't remember where we saw. Yeah, Mac Meisner's right here. And what we found out was like, wow, some of the top approach golfers also had positive off the tee. But then when we went to around the green and we looked at the best around the green golfers, Mac Meisner's right here. He's still inside the top 20 of golfers heading into that event. And when we saw that, Byron and I, and it was something I pointed out, was like, well, Mac Meisner's our golden star. Like, he's the guy you want to be playing in all your lineups, because every single year, and that's what's so great about this lead-in stats tool, is you can do this. Every single year, you can find someone who has all positive. Here, let me go by finish. All positive stats across the board. At least that's what I thought. Was it around the green that you went like this? And then we wanted to find, maybe it was trying to find the person. Maybe I misinterpreted that. Maybe I'm just looking for a positive approach and positive putter. Okay, maybe 2025 is just a bad year. 2024. Here's one. Davis Thompson. Yeah, maybe it was just 2025. I'm not going to find this. I know there was a weirdness. Basically, Steven Yeager would have had... that's almost all stats positive. I know it isn't, but that's still good enough. I'd have to go back to the preview video and really find who we were talking about. Or not so much who we were talking about, but what stats we were talking about that led us to that conclusion. Was it approach that we were looking at and then there was positive? Huh. No, it's not that. Anyways, I'm not going to spend all the time trying to figure this out. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I know Mac Meisner was starred in our optimizer as a guy you wanted to play in, I mean, I wouldn't say all of your lineups, but most of your lineups. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to the pass optimal in GPP winning lineups. AJ, you said you finished inside the top 100. That's awesome. Good for you, man. All right, here we go. Before we get into the pass optimal and GPP lineups, we got to go over one thing, and we do this every single time this one golfer is in the field. It is Scottie Scheffler. Scottie Scheffler is at $14,000. You can almost pencil him in for a top 10, always. And when he's a top 10, there are things we have to consider. Is $14,000 too much? Now, the last event that he was in was the Travelers Championship. So if I go into this tool, by the way, the tools we're going to be looking at for this segment, Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineups, the historic salary builds tool, these are the main tools that we want to look at. But the last event, was the Travelers Championship. Scottie Scheffler finished second. He was $13,800. $13,800 at the Travelers Championship where there was a limited field. 72 golfers were in that field. There was not a 5K range for the 2026 Travelers Championship. So it started in the 6K range, the lowest price, and went all the way up to Scottie Scheffler at $13,800. Oh, well, he finished second. He finished second. So clearly that means you want him in your lineups, right? This is a perfect tournament to show every one of you guys as to what could happen to Scottie Scheffler, or what can happen at events where the best golfers perform well. So Victor Hovland and Scottie Scheffler, you could have built lineups with both of those golfers. $13,800 for Scottie, $8,500. And if we were to go to historic salary builds and we put in to our filters up here, the fantasy stats filters, and let's go to the highest price golfer. So what this filter is going to let us do is put in 13,000 to, let's say, 14,800. So basically, if you go into this historic lineup filters and you go into highest price golfer, I want to look at the lineups where there was a golfer that was somewhere between $13,000 and $14,800 in it. Because I'm looking for the Scottie Schefflers, like Scottie Scheffler lineups. Well, the most common lineup, if we drill down on this, 10-8, 2-7s, 2-6s, you can see the 2026 American Express was a tournament where those lineups were involved in. That had Scottie Scheffler. 2025 BMW Championship, that had Scottie Scheffler. And then the rest of these also had Scottie Scheffler. I mean, Memorial Tournament last year, Byron Nelson last year, both tournaments that Scottie Scheffler won. Scottie in 2025... Did he win? Yeah, he won last year at the Open, didn't he? He was in the optimal, but he was not in the sweet spot optimal, and he was not in the GPP winning lineup. By the way, this tool here looks at 3 different types of lineups: GPP, optimal, and the sweet spot optimal, and it determines, or it doesn't determine anything. It just keeps track of the lineups, and it shows you what the lineup builds were. By the way, Scotty could have been in the optimal as well, or I mean the sweet spot optimal and GPP winning lineup. It just didn't follow a 10-8, 2 7s, and 2 6s. So if I go back to the Travelers Championship, and I understand we're talking about the Genesis Scottish Open, but it is worth noting of how these types of issues happen with Scotty Scheffler being as high priced as he is. We're going to stick here, and then we're going to go to other tournaments where him at his price tag was actually still good enough to be in the optimal lineup, but not finish first place. Just throwing that out there. Not in the optimal, but like a sweet spot optimal or a GPP winning lineup. So we could go with Scotty at 13.8 and then go into the 8K range. Then we have to follow it up with 2 7s and 2 6s. Well, there's Victor Hovland, there's Scotty Scheffler, $7,400 Akshay Bhatia, $6,700 Corey Connors, $7,700 Alex Fitzpatrick. So now I got my 2 7s, and I actually can't go on with this lineup because the remainder that I have is $5,900. I need at least 6,000. So we can't use Alex Fitzpatrick. We can't actually use any of these guys that are up here. There's a $6,200 Denny McCarthy in 14th place. Now I can play someone who is $7,400, which is Nikolai Højgaard, $7,100. So $49,700 of the salary would be used, and it would score 693 points. Okay, cool. 693, that's a pretty good score. What did the GPP winning lineup score in 2026? 710. So you were not beating the GPP winning lineup. 693 might not even get you inside the top 10. Remember, that's the amount of points we just scored building that Scotty Scheffler lineup. That it was like the best lineup we could build with Scotty Scheffler was to score 693 points. So if you, depending on what contest you put it in, maybe you put in the $5 Drive the Green, the big multi-entry GPP. I think 10th place is like $2,000, which if you only put one entry in, wonderful. That is fine. Making 2,000 off of $5, pretty darn good. But your GPP winning lineup started with Matt Fitzpatrick, then it was Colin Morikawa, Victor Hovland, so it's a 10,000 flat golfer. Then it's 9,200, 85, 79, 74, 7,000. Let me take this back and let's look at the type of scenarios that can happen where Scotty Scheffler just won't pay off his price tag. It is all because in 3rd place was a $9,200 golfer. In 4th place was a $10,000 golfer. So inside the top 4, you have 13.8, 10,000, 92, 85. Now, if we had a 7K golfer inside the top 4, or even a 6K golfer, putting a Victor Hovland and a Scotty Scheffler with that $700 or $600 or $6,000 golfer, probably it would be doable to actually take down a GPP. Now, we do have a $7,400 golfer that finished in 5th place and scored 115 points, which is pretty good. I think that was like the 5th highest score that week. It looks like it was. But Victor Hovland scored 144 points. I'm kind of jumping around here. Let me actually address that. Victor Hovland finished 1st. So he gets 10 more points just from placement alone than Scotty Scheffler. Take those 10 points away. He still outscores Scotty Scheffler. It'd be 134 to 128. So even by placement, doesn't really matter. Victor Hovland scored a lot of DraftKings points, and you needed him. Now, like I was talking about, you could put a Scheffler-Hovland lineup together. That would have performed well. I just showed you how it performed. The fact of the matter is, you've got a lot of 9K golfers and 8K golfers that finished inside the top 10. Or finished inside the top 12. Let's put it that way. Top 12. That makes it easier. And so what ends up happening is, again, Fitzpatrick at 10,000, finishing fourth, scoring 121 points. Morikawa at $9,200, scoring 124 points. Morikawa definitely did this. Fitzpatrick's close. They scored more than 10 points of DraftKings points than golfers in 5th and 7th place. And certainly, obviously, in 10th place and worse. So it's like, when you have that amount of golfers that are that expensive, finishing inside the top 5/top 10, Scottie Scheffler's price tag, I don't know what the number is exactly, but I bet you anything. Well, let's put it this way. 13.8. Let's do this exercise. Let's go 13.8, 85, 92, 67, 77, 74. Okay. I'm $3,300 over the limit. $3,300. So Scottie Scheffler, to make a lineup like this work, would have to be $10,300. So obviously this doesn't work. Go figure. Let's take away Morikawa and bring in Bobby Mack. Scored 109 points. That is 15 less points than Collin Morikawa, but still doable. This lineup here scores 717 points. It could have outscored the GPP winning lineup that did not have Scottie Scheffler in it. But this total salary is $52,200, which means we'd have to take off $2,200 from Scottie's price tag in order to make it work out, which means he'd have to go down to $11,600. Now, there are tournaments, don't get me wrong, that Scottie Scheffler actually was in one of a lineup that what am I trying to say? He didn't win the event, but he was in one of these successful lineups. Let me try to find one. I wonder, is it the Memorial? Because he didn't win the Memorial. Let's look at the 2026 Memorial. Because the GPP winner had a Scottie Scheffler lineup, it looks like. Yes. So here you go. Here you go. This lineup here, another limited field event. So don't get me wrong, another limited field event. Scottie Scheffler was $13,500, $500 cheaper at the Memorial than he is at the Genesis Scottish Open. And then you could pair him with the $9,100 Tommy Fleetwood. The reason a lineup like this works is because a $6,600 JT Poston won the tournament. That's the only way a lineup like this works. If I take that GPP winner out and we look at the top of the leaderboard here, you've got Poston at $6,600, Gerard at $69, Wyndham Clark at $73. You remember the top 4 of the Travelers? It was 4 golfers, $8,500 and above. If we look at the top, well, I guess top 3, and if we take the top 3 of that, it's still the same. It's $8,500 and above. This is $7,300 and below. It's $1,200 difference between the most expensive golfer from the top 3 here versus the top 3 at the Travelers. So that is how Scottie Scheffler can be in a winning lineup. And again, I know, I'm sorry, this is a ton of Scottie Scheffler. Let's move on. Let's look at other things. But it is a strategy piece that you have to do, that you have to take into account. Now, here's what I will say. This is the tool to really analyze how good Scottie Scheffler lineups are. Or I shouldn't even say Scottie Scheffler lineups. It's just, when can you use Scottie Scheffler? Here's what I would suggest. Go to the historic salary builds page. Under the crosshairs, this is the fantasy stats filter. Go ahead in this salary box here. We're trying to find any golfer that is over $13,000 that was in the field. So this is letting us know that Scottie Scheffler was in the field. Now, this box down here will show you the max salary for each of these successful lineups. Anything that's over 13,000, you can guarantee is Scottie Scheffler. So for the Travelers, 0 Scottie. The US Open, there were a couple Scotties. The GPP winning lineup had Scottie Scheffler in it, $14,900. So again, we can go there, and each and every one of you guys can do this, by the way. I don't have to just continue showing. You could do the research on your own. If I drill into that and go to GPP winner, you can see there he is. There's Scottie Scheffler. 14.9, 3 7s, and 2 6s. You got to remember there's a 5K range here too. The way to tell is if you take the GPP winner off and you just go top to bottom, or I should say bottom to top, there's your 5K range. So you had very cheap golfers. I mean, $6,200, third place, Tom Kim. The only way you can have a $14,900 Scottie Scheffler or price tag in your lineup of 6 golfers and still take down a GPP. The winner has to be around $7,800. Put it this way, it's the same formula that we just saw as we were looking up the Memorial. 3 golfers at a very cheap price inside the top 3. But if you do your own research and you go through each of these types of lineups and you look, again, the key here is max salary. If the max salary is less than $13,000, that means Scottie Scheffler was not in any of those lineups. And once again, just to remind you, we put on a filter, the salary filter up at the top, right here. We just changed this from being 0 to being 13,000. And again, the reason is because we are looking at every field that Scottie Scheffler was in where he was priced 13,000 or more. And then you can look at the summary box up here. 10.98, 7.76 is the most common. It's actually tied with a 9.98, 7.76. Then a 10.8, 2 7s, 2 6s, which probably has most of your Scottie Scheffler line. Yeah, it has almost all of your lineups. These are Scottie Scheffler lineups, and they come from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different tournaments. So, my recommendation is this. You have to take a look at the field. So if you go to the cheat sheet at SweetSpotDFS.com and we look at all the salaries, when we get to the $7,000 range, can we actually assume, like, can we feel confident that one of these guys, I shouldn't say one of these guys, 3 of these guys are going to be inside the top 5? That's kind of the thought process you have to have. You need 3 7K golfers to finish inside the top 3. Top 5, sure, but well, I should say top 5, sure. Definitely top 5, but you want top 3 if possible. And the way that I would feel comfortable going about this is either looking at the bucket system for the Genesis Scottish Open and scrolling down and looking at the 7K range, maybe just drilling down on that, just looking to see how often there are top 10 finishers, top 5 finishers, optimal lineup finishers, all that good stuff. And also just kind of scrolling down to see who those golfers were. You know, if we just look at 2025 and we're just looking at price tag, golfers who have finished inside, let's say, yeah, the top 10. You had Chris Gotterup, Marco Penge, Nicolai Højgaard, Justin Rose. 3 European golfers, 1 American golfer. Marco Penge would have probably been somewhat surprising. I mean, I know a lot of people were on, like, they knew of him before this event started, but to finish second's pretty darn good. And of course, I think everybody knows who Nicolai Højgaard is. And obviously everyone knows who Justin Rose is. This is just 1 year. That's 2025. What was 2024 like? Bobby Mack, Adam Scott, Alex Noren. 2023. Bobby Mack, Byung-Hun An, JT Post, and Nikolai Højgaard. 2022, Cameron Tringali and Thomas Dietrich. 2021, here's what I will say. The trend that I'm looking at right now is one of these 7K golfers is a DP World Tour darling. Maybe not so much in 2024. You know what I really want to look up? I really want to look up Bobby Mack. When did he win the Canadian Open? 2024. So he won it right before the Scottish Open. Got it. Okay. So in 2024, when he won this, everyone knew of him. And he just become a PGA Tour member, right? Or he was already a PGA Tour member because he qualified through the DP World Tour. I can't remember. But here's one other thing I'm looking at. Look at all of these major championship winners that are kind of old. Justin Rose, 7,300, 2024. Adam Scott, 7,300, 2023. We don't have one here. 2022, and we definitely don't have one there. But the last 2 years, in the $7,300 spot, we've had an old guy. I'm kind of curious. Who do we have this week that's $7,300? That's an old guy that's also kind of an international golfer. I wouldn't say Matt Wallace is one, and he also hasn't won a major championship. Has anybody won a major championship here in the 7K range? Patrick Reed, Adam Scott, 77, 78. Aaron Rai, Shane Lowry. Who else do we have? Maybe it's cheaper I need to look at. No one fits that mold of Adam Scott or Justin Rose. At least I'm not seeing it. Someone could convince me otherwise. I wouldn't put Brian Harman in that whatsoever, but he is a major champion. $7,300 Brian Harman. Yeah, I'm not seeing anyone else that really fits that mold. So anyways, the whole conversation revolved around Scottie Scheffler. You need 7K golfers to perform well. You just saw the last 3 years. We did have a decent amount of golfers finishing inside the top 10 that were in the 7K range. So therefore, is it doable? Yes, you can build a Scottie Scheffler lineup. Here's the thing. You're either going to start with Scottie Scheffler, 10 plus. Then you have the ability to play a 9K golfer. You could, but it'll have to be a 10, 9, 2 7s and 2 6s, or 1 7 and 3 6s. Or you go Scotty into an 8K golfer, 2 7s and 2 6s. Or you start with Scotty and you do 3 or 4 7s and 1 6. You certainly could do it that way. Those are your most common Scottie Scheffler lineup builds that are successful. Going salary-wise that way. Outside of that, remember, we still have our filters in here. We're looking for all the tournaments that Scottie Scheffler has been in. And then we can see some of these lineups. Like, obviously, we're just talking about the Travelers Championship. 10,000 was the most expensive golfer. If we scroll down to the Byron Nelson, $9,900 was the most expensive. The PGA Championship this year did not include Scottie Scheffler in any of the lineups that would make you money. SweetSpot optimal GPP winner. You also didn't have it at the Cadillac. 10,200 was the most expensive. 10,000 was the most expensive at the RBC Heritage. 11,600 was the most expensive at the Masters. That's because Rory was in it. The Players Championship, 10,300 or 9,600 or 8,900. The GPP winner, 8,900, went 8,88877. Arnold Palmer, $9,600 was your most expensive. Genesis, 11,300 was your most expensive. Those are not Scottie Scheffler lineups. It's a lot of lineups, a lot of tournaments where Scottie Scheffler just was not a part of a lineup that would make you a lot of money. And I would say your hit rate is about 30%. You know, Scottie Scheffler is successful about 33% of the time of making you money, or at least helping you win a GPP. Let's put it that way. Which are good odds compared to the rest of the golfers, but at $14,000, you do have to make a very handicapping decision because it will handicap your lineups. You won't be able to do, you don't have that much freedom. You don't have that much flexibility. You start with Scottie, you are kind of screwed. It's not to say, listen, Scottie Scheffler could be in a lineup that will make you a lot of money this week. But you have to understand it's got to come with 2 or 3 of these 7K golfers, and you have to figure out which ones they are. Personally, I don't even like the 7K range that much. Like, Eugenio Chacarra is definitely someone that's very interesting. I do like Patrick Reed. But when you have, let's say, 3 $7,700 golfers and higher to put in your lineups, that still is difficult to finish up your lineup. Here, let's use the optimizer just to prove the point. Scottie Scheffler. I'm going to choose 09s and 08s. 09s, 08s. Here you go. This is what I'm talking about. So you start with 14,000, then it goes 77 Jake Knapp, $7,300 Theegala, $7,100 Rasmus, $7,100 Sam Stevens, and then a $6,800 Jesper Svensson, which, hey, I don't mind going Jesper Svensson. That sounds pretty good. Let's limit the 7Ks to 3. I don't want to see 4. I want to see how many expensive-ish 7K golfers I can put. Oh, this is a perfect example. Jake Knapp, 77. Ryan Gerard, 75. Rasmus, 71. So you got a good mix of 7K golfers. And then 2 guys that are almost max salary in the 6K range. 2 guys that are $6,800. So you really only have $200 of leeway. And the highest price golfer that we could put in our lineup following this criteria was $7,700. Now, if I introduce the 8K range, I don't even know if we're going to pick an 8K golfer, but let's see. Nope, still doesn't. Because it still thinks 77, 73, 71 into 69, 68 is going to be the best way to go about this. I won't lie, these 3 7K golfers seem decent. We could easily put those guys together. And a lot of these lineups I'm building look pretty good. 77, 76, 71, and then that goes into 2 $6,800 golfers. Yeah, it's still not giving me any 8K golfers. Let's take a look at 9Ks. Yeah, still doesn't, it's not going to put in any of those. Patrick Reed, Jake Knapp, Rasmus Højgaard. That's not terrible. 77, 77, 71. But it obviously really loves Rasmus Højgaard. So I'm going to take him out. He's out of here. 77, 75, 73 into a 68, 67. That's actually a really good lineup. I like that one. Okay, I've made my point. You have to get comfortable playing golfers in the 7K range. If you can find 3 7K golfers to pair up with Scottie Scheffler, all the more wonderful. I think you're in a good spot then. I think you'd be in a very good spot. You also have to find 2 6K golfers that seem pretty decent. So going from there, now I kind of already laid out the anti-Scottie blueprint by talking about the Scottie blueprint. It is starting still in the 10K range or grabbing 2 9K golfers. So if we look at the cheat sheet and we take a look at the price tags, 12,000, 11,500. Those are the 2 other price tags that are 10,000 and above outside of Scottie Scheffler. So that's not a lot. Look at Matt Fitzpatrick, $9,900. Xander, $9,800. Ludwig, Tommy Fleetwood, Goddard, Clark, Hovland, and Bobby Mack. Those golfers, 9K and above, I think all have a very, very good shot to win. No duh. They're the most expensive golfers in the field. This is all tied into odds. all this, you know, all this good stuff. Win percentage, course fit. I get it. I understand. But this is the thing. Enough of these golfers finish inside the top 10, and I'm talking anything over $8,000. Let's say out of $8,000 golfers and above, if 3 of them finish inside the top 5, Scotty's cooked. You can't play a Scotty lineup. If 5 of them finish inside the top 10, you're cooked again. You shouldn't want to play Scotty in those scenarios. And the most common lineup build when Scotty Scheffler's in the field, $13,000 and above, and he's not a part of a winning lineup, has to do, or I should say the lineup builds, the most popular lineup builds, go 10-9-8, 7-7-6, or they go 9-9-8, 7-7-6. Well, I can tell you one thing. I do like these 9K golfers. I don't mind pairing up a Fitzpatrick with anybody. Fleetwood, a Fitzpatrick and Fleetwood. Then you come down into the 8K range. You grab one of these guys. I don't care which one that you like the most. Maybe it's Tyrrell Hatton. Maybe it's JJ Spawn, Kurt Kitayama, Harris English, or even Minwoo Lee, who's won this event before. So you grab one of those guys. And then you can still grab some of these high-priced 7K golfers that you would have to do with any of those Scotty Scheffler lineups anyways. But you're limiting your risk because you don't have to play several of them. You only got to play up to 2. And then you grab the 6K, one of those 6K golfers that we liked when we were building Scotty Scheffler lineups. So that's your anti-Scotty lineup. And I mean, I think that's the best way to cap off the pass optimal and GPP lineups is the fact that you either choose Scotty or you don't choose Scotty. And that's actually going to be roll call number 1. Roll call number 1 is, are you playing Scotty Scheffler this week? It also reminds me I got to do giveaways. Oh my gosh, I forgot. I forgot. All right, let's do these right now. I mean, we're kind of at the end of the pass optimal GPP lineups segment, so let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to do a drum roll and hit the winner. Denny Barry, congrats, man. You're on a little bit of a heater. 2 entries, YouTube comments for the John Deere Classic. That's all you guys got to do. Put in comments for the John Deere Classic. I only had 4 people participate in the comment section after this video went live. Our monthly giveaway winner, just a show, goes from Memorial to Canada to US Open, Travelers, John Deere Classic. We had 5. Count them 5. All right, 107 total entries here. Joanne, congrats, Joanne. Joanne, you win a membership to SweetSpotDFS.com. I know you already are a member, but we can give you an additional or we can make one of your months free. And then if you want to sign back up and pay, monthly again or whatever it is, you can go ahead and do that. So let me know how you want to go about that, Joanne. We can change the subscription. I can do it to where you get a free month. So you don't have to pay for one of those months. All right. Congrats, Joanne. Unfortunately, we did not hit the goal of 1,000 subscribers by the time we did this. Otherwise, you'd also get another t-shirt, or at least put money towards a t-shirt or whatever type of merch. Okie dokie. So I have 2 participators? 2 participators. That's a made up word. Participants. I have 2 participants. This all goes away. For the monthly, this all goes away as well for the weekly. Now we have Genesis Scottish Open roll calls. Give it another spin. Okay. Okay. Joanne says give it another spin. So here we go. Mr. Ryan Henson. I don't know if Ryan still is a member. Oh, actually, you know what? This is perfect. He had to pause his membership. So Ryan Henson gets one. Thank you, Joanne. That was awfully nice of you. Okay. Dan, my 4-person top 20 this week: Svensson, Tom Kim, Hovland, Nikolai Højgaard, a bit risky, but Reggie didn't come to bunt. That's awesome. Glad to help a member. Yeah, absolutely, Joanne. Thank you very much. What's going on, Nathan? Nice to see you. Dan, if you're still in the chat, I've golfed myself into a wrist injury, so that's been pleasant to have to deal with. Played the State Open today and yesterday. I had my wrist taped, which felt amazing, by the way. Just having very little mobility in my wrist felt good hitting golf balls. But I couldn't help but to feel like I was robbed from a little bit of distance. And then I think it also hurt in a sense because I was favoring my wrist. And I think what your body tries to do is it tries to like swing a draw swing more. And that's kind of what I was doing. Hitting the ball left too much today. Anyways. Moving on. That was the pass optimal GPP winning lineups. Yeah, I know. The only real way to fix it is rest, but this is the month of golf tournaments in Minnesota. It sucks. Like, I think I'm gonna play with the pain. I'm gonna play with tape jobs and just figure out a way to get it done. 3M Open qualifiers next week. Then there are other tournaments that I have as well that I'm not going to miss. I'm not going to miss. The season in Minnesota is so short. I will suffer through this month as well as the middle of August, and then rest, September and on. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, yeah, it was bad. Today, both days I shot 78 and was in 129th place or whatever it was. It was terrible. Tape it up and fire up a bunch of Advil. Oh yeah, ibuprofen. That's what I was doing. Ibuprofen, tape job, needs a cool down, get a good ice bag, and icing. I've been icing it too. Been icing it as well. Okie doke. Moving on. Going to the... I don't even really want to talk about the bucket. Actually, yeah, let's go into the bucket system. Here we go. All right, many of you guys know the bucket system. I will say this. There are only like 3 events or 4 years that we can really look at bucket information, which is still good. That's still good. The only thing I really want to the only thing I want to focus in on is wherever Scotty Scheffler is, whatever buckets he's in, we are going to reduce the number of the projection by 1. I might do it. Well, No, I'm just going to do the minimum. So here's Scottie Scheffler. We'll start from left to front, and I'm also going to use this page as well. You know what? We're also going to look at the lead-in stats, because that's a perfect thing to do, especially with the buckets. I'm going to look at lead-in stats after this. That'll be a different segment. Yeah. Okay, so I want to look at each of these projections. So for last year one, I guess I'm going to start from the top and go down. I know Scottie Scheffler's in the last year one column. Or last year one, I'm sorry. Yeah, last year one bucket. The projection is 1 to 4. 1 to 4. Which means for this minimum, I'm going to move it down to 0. Now, 1 to 4 is a very big projection, very wide. If we take a look at the projection, actually, yeah, let's do it the proper way. My bad. This is the cheat sheet that's free for all of you guys. You guys can come and take a look. It's at SweetSpotDFS.com. There's a link for this in the description of the video. If you scroll down, you can click here and you can follow along with me. This is the Google Sheet version of the cheat sheet. And so this bucket system is what you guys could use to follow along if you wanted to. You don't have to. You can follow along with me here. But for last year one, I have 1 to 4. If I go into this cheat sheet, scroll back up to the top, I go into the buckets, and I go right down to the strokes gained 1. Or not strokes gained 1. Jeez, I'm all over the place. Last year one, here are all of our golfers in the last year one bucket. So the topic of my conversation is, when Scottie Scheffler's a part of a bucket, we can almost guarantee he's going to provide a success for those buckets. And a success is a top 10. He's going to be the one in 1 to 4, because that is the projection. That's how many golfers we can project to be inside the top 10 from this bucket. 1 to 4. It's a wide range. I understand. It'd be better if it was like 2 to 4, but it isn't. It's 1 to 4. And if you take a look at the names, Scheffler, McIlroy, Fitzpatrick, Schauffele, Oberg, Goddard, Clark, Hovland, Højgaard, Nicolai, Christopher Wrighton, Adam Scott, Penge, Tom Kim, Harry Hall, Straka, Novak, Schmid, Sullivan. So now what we do is we look, all right, well, how many of these golfers really have a shot to win? Yes to Scotty, yes to Rory, yes to Matt, yes to Xander, yes to Oberg, yes to Goddard. Probably not a yes to Clark. Yes to Hovland. Yes. Yeah, I'll leave it there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 golfers I can expect to win. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if one of those 7 golfers wins. Well, now that changes my view on this bucket. I'm going to keep it to a 1 to 4. A lot of that has to do with, okay, if I'm building lineups and I want to grab at least 1 golfer from this bucket, of those 7 golfers I talked about, let's put it this way. If you divide 7 into 100, or you divide 100 by 7, it's a different way to say it, you're going to get a number around 14. Let's just give it 50. Okay, it's going to be around 14. So, of these 7 golfers, would I be comfortable playing at least 14% of them in my lineups? Or I should say, of my lineups, am I okay allocating 14% of roster positions on any of these 7 golfers? And the answer is yes. I don't mind, or I don't mind. So no, I don't mind putting these golfers in my lineups. Scotty at 14%, yeah, no brainer. Rory at 14%, no brainer. Fitzpatrick, yes. Xander, yes. Oberg, that's where it gets kind of close. Like 16% is what I'm comfortable playing. Goddard right at 14% is wonderful. Hovland at right at 14% is also wonderful. You want to know who else I'd probably play at 14%? Højgaard, Wrighton, and Tom Kim. The rest of these guys will be like 10%, 12%, something like that. That's good, right? So that is definitely a 1 to 4 bucket, and I'm going to keep it 1 to 4. Moving on. The next bucket that Scotty is in, we'll go to last week's 6 bucket. This one's kind of easy, as there are 121 golfers in that bucket. Because how many are coming here from the John Deere Classic? We have 35 total golfers out of 156 coming from the John Deere Classic. I'm not really that concerned about golfers coming from the John Deere Classic. I even if they're in good recent form, I do not want to try to anchor any of my lineups around those guys. So, I mean, we can do this really quick. I have a feeling we already know the answer. But we're going to drill down into last week's 6. And, I mean, that projection, by the way, is 3 to 6. Actually, let me pull up the optimizer. 3 to 6 for last year's 6. Or last week 6, sorry. Last week 6. 3 to 6 is the projection. 121 total golfers. Scheffler, Rory, Rahm, Fitzpatrick, Oberg, Fleetwood. I just don't want to put Clark in this whole thing. Hovland, Bobby Mack. Or would I just count over? Was that 8 golfers or was that 13? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 8, 9. Bobby Mack, I'm cool with. Even Hatton, 10. I got 10 golfers that I'm cool with playing. But then we go down into like the 8K range. Hatton, well, I guess I just said Hatton. Cantlay, Siwoo, JT, JJ, Kurt Kitayama, English, Minwoo, David Puig, Nikolai Højgaard, $8,000. Brooks Koepka, $8,000. Then we get in the 7K range. You got Patrick Reed down here. I absolutely love Patrick Reed this week. Eugenio Chacarra. I know he's been on fire as of late. Alex Fitzpatrick, who's just good, right? He's been so good coming to the PGA Tour. Alex Noren is down here. Adam Scott, Shane Lowry, Aaron Rai, Christopher Wright. I really like Christopher Wright in this week. So there's a bunch of golfers from all different price points. So 3 to 6 is just fine. I'm going to keep it there. Scotty's in course history 2 bucket. That projection's 1 to 3. This is where it could get interesting. 19 total golfers. Scotty, Matty Fitzpatty, Oberg, Bobby Mack. Then it drops down to Kitayama, English, Højgaard, Scott, Knapp. So there's a lot of golfers from this bucket that were in the last week's 6 bucket. Actually, all of them except for Thorbjorn Olesen at $6,700 are in the last week's 6 bucket. I only see a handful that I'm cool with playing, which means I don't think I want to play at least one golfer from this bucket. I think I'm going to move this to a 0. This one is a 0 to 3 bucket. Not going to try. I do like Matt Fitzpatrick. I like Scotty. I just don't like the rest of these guys enough. I'm not going to play any of these top 4 at 25%. I'm not going to play Scotty at 25%. Maybe I will play Matt Fitzpatrick at 25%. But all in all, I'm not going to try to force one golfer from this bucket. I think the optimizer is just going to like some of these golfers, like Nikolai Højgaard, Adam Scott, Jake Knapp. I think the optimizer loves Jake Knapp from the few times I've actually made lineups. Jordan L. Smith is a good play. Jesper Svensson, we just saw him, when I was trying to build some Scotty lineups, show up in Scotty lineups. So there's a lot of good ones that you can play, but all in all, I'm going to make that a 0 to 3. And then he's in the recent form 1 bucket, and that is also a 1 to 3 bucket. Now, these are golfers coming in with the best recent form. So we'll take a look at the recent form 1 bucket. 9 total golfers, 9. And this is a 1 to 3 bucket, meaning we can play up to 3 golfers. I'll be honest with you, you're not playing 3 golfers. There's Jesper Svensson there at $6,800, so I guess he kind of counts. But you have Doug Gim and Alex Fitzpatrick in the 7K range. Then it goes $8,600 and up. So, am I comfortable playing Matt Fitzpatrick? Tommy Fleetwood, Wyndham Clark, Tyrrell Hatton, Justin Thomas in at least one of my lineups? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I do like Matt Fitzpatrick, and I like Tommy Fleetwood, but I don't like Wyndham Clark that much. I don't trust Tyrrell Hatton that much, and I don't trust Justin Thomas that much. I don't want to force at least one golfer from these buckets, so I'm switching this to a 0. Recent form 1 gets changed to a 0. He's also in the strokes gain 1 bucket, which is a 1 to 5. It's actually a 2 to 5. I'm gonna actually no. Let's go. Let's look at it. I was gonna say I'm gonna spare you the time because I've already looked at it. 14 total golfers. If I go here and we take a look at the strokes gain 1 bucket, it is 2.04 to 4.08. That's very close to being less than 1 and less than 4. Or I said less than 2 and less than 4. So it could be like a 1 to 4 bucket instead of a 1 to 5 bucket or a 2 to 5 bucket. Let's take a look. There should be 14 total golfers in that, which I do have 14. Scotty. Okay, so now we go from here. How many of these golfers are we comfortable playing at least one of? If not 2. Could we go with 2? Maybe. It's possible. Nikolai Højgaard is showing up in all of these buckets that we've been looking at Scotty Scheffler in, by the way. He could be the one guy who's going to be representative of the bucket that we're like reducing the projections for Scotty in, which would be hilarious because he'd be the guy you'd want to anchor around. But let's look at this. Rory, Jon Rahm, Fitzpatrick, Schauffele, Oberg, Fleetwood, Hovland, Hatton, Højgaard, Lowry, Meisner, Grant Forrest, and Marcel Siem. Yeah. Very interesting. Do I want to play at least 2 of these guys? I don't even know if it's possible. And if it is, I think you're just anchoring these golfers by hand. Like, I like Matt Fitzpatrick and Fleetwood. I'm probably going to anchor them together. Those are going to be my 2 golfers. Do I really care to put a 3rd in my lineup? No. Could it happen with Højgaard? Sure could. It could. It could also happen with Hatton. Maybe 3 9K golfers and put Hovland in there. Those all could happen. Those all, not so much just could happen, but those all could be the successful way to go. However, I am not going to put 2 to 5. I'm going to keep this a 1 to 5 bucket. I think that's probably the easiest way to do it. So, yeah. I'm not going to go over any more of the buckets. The next one that we would talk about were salaries, but we just did with the bucket system. So, personally, never mind. I'm not going to say that. If you don't care about the bucket system, but you want to follow the SweetSpot process, you can request for the optimizer. Go to the website, SweetSpotDFS.com, under Fantasy Tools. Click on the optimizer. So under Fantasy Tools, click on the optimizer. A pop-up will happen asking you for your email address. You just type it in there and you hit request now, and I'll send you the optimizer. That way you don't have to do any of this manual work that I was just showing you guys. It'll just already populate it for you. Okay. I am going to go into the lead-in stats. This is what Byron and I typically do every preview, but we obviously weren't able to do it. This last Sunday, we were both busy. So the first thing to do, we go into the buckets and we go into course history 1, course history 2, recent form 1, recent form 2. These are your best golfers coming into the event with recent form as well as course history or tournament history, really. So here we go. 2025, you get Rory and Xander, 10K and above. Then it's a couple $8,000 golfers, $9,900 golfer, And then the 7K range, the best place was $7,800 at 71st place. And then they all missed cuts. So Thomas Dietrich is the cheapest golfer to make the cut. $7,800. 2024. Look at this. Guess what? Nobody is less than $8,900. 2023. We do have a couple 7K golfers that actually broke the mold, or they were the first ones, I guess. Tyrrell Hatton was $9,600, finished 6th. Jornell Smith, Woodland, Clark, Shoffley, Smalley, Gim, Fitzpatrick, and Patrick Calley. 10-2, 98, and then 7K golfers. And in 2022, I didn't have course history and recent form. Well, I wouldn't have had course history, right? Would just been recent form. Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So then we look, first of all, let's clear out all the filters that are currently on it. Drill into the bucket system, go course history 1, course history 2, recent form 1, recent form 2. These are technically all the golfers that fit into that. This is a lot. It's more than I've seen in the other ones. 13 golfers that are in the elite grouping, as Byron and I used to call it. 14, 12,000, 99, 98, 96, 94, 92, 9,000, 89, 84, 78, 76, 68. If history's ever shown us anything, it's that don't trust the 7K range from this bucket. However, in 2020, actually, hold on. Let me get back. Let's go course history 1, course history 2. 2023, Jornell Smith finished 12th. I don't know that's going to be good. Good enough. $9,600 Tyrrell Hatton, yes. So just look at this, $9,600. 2024, it was $8,900 and above. 2025, it was $10,000 and above. Those are the only golfers that you should concern yourself with, which tells me when we look at the cheat sheet, Shane Lowry, Tom Kim, Jesper Svensson. Maybe only pick one of them, but don't play more than 2 of these guys in your lineup. Don't play more than one. I almost would say just don't play 2 of these guys or more. Just select one to fit in with the rest of the guys. That's it. Let's see. There were 11 total golfers this year, and only 2 of them were good. 2024 had 5 total golfers, 9 total golfers in 2023. And 1 only finished top 5, or top 10, I should say. 2 finished top 10. 2 finished top 10. So it's like a max of 2. The max of 2, but we do have 2 more golfers. So maybe up to 3. I think you could play up to 3 golfers, or maybe you don't play 3 because Scotty Scheffler's in this group. There's a lot of other expensive golfers that could just easily finish inside the top 10. You can only play 1 of them. This is almost a bucket onto its own that you only want to play 1 golfer of, which helps you. It could help you eliminate playing other golfers. BMac, I'll get back to you. I see you posting in the chat. So that's the elite grouping. If I were to go into lead and stats, and now instead of the elite grouping, we take a look at the best off the tee, approach, and around the green golfers. See, this is on the screen. If I go up to here, let's see, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, so we can fit 19 on the screen just so you guys can see. Oh, you guys can't even see the lead and stats thing anyways. I'll keep it here. This is easier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So you can see the top 16. If I do one mouse scroll down, you can see 17, 18, 19. Okay. All right. So off the tee, our best off the tee golfers. How did they perform here? Here's your top 16. Marco Penge finished 2nd. Scheffler was 8th, and Rory was 2nd. Wow, go figure. 2 really elite golfers, then 1, not so elite golfer, but still good. Chris Goddard was like honorable mention, 21st or 22nd place. Just throwing that out there. A lot of first and seconds. Approach, top approach golfer in this group. We had Scheffler, Straka, Hovland, Sullivan, Xander. That's it for approach. And no finished better than 7th. Around the green. Best around the green golfers. There's only one guy. Outside, I guess, Sky Scheffler that plays. So around the green, not that important here. Looks like, at least in 2025. And then putting, same thing with putting. Okay. Moving on to 2024. We look at putting here. There are 3 golfers, really, that have good putting. Around the green. 2 guys that finished inside the top 10. One was $5,800. The other one was Old Man Balls Alex Noren. $7,400. Around the green ain't getting it done. Approach. 1, 2, 3. Aaron Rye finished 4th. Otherwise, 10th place. Corey Connors at $8,900. Xander at $11,700. This is crazy. Off the tee? Wow. Even more. I mean, off the tee has given us more hits than anything else so far. Richard Mansell, Romain Langesque, Rory McIlroy, Ludwig Oberg, Nicholas Norgard Moeller. Those are the only dudes. Everyone else kind of missed the cut. So this one is definitely boom or bust. This is crazy. Like, finding the middle ground is going to be the way to go, it seems like. 2023, looking at off the tee. You get Scotty and Rory, Corey Connors, and Tyrrell Hatton. Notably here, they're all over $8,000. Looking at an approach, there's a lot here. Wow. Jordan L. Smith, $7,200, finished 12th. Then it was Scotty finishing 3rd. Hoagie, $6,900, finished 19th. Tom Kim, 6th. Rory 1st. Corey Connors, 19th. Shane Lowry, 12th. Fleetwood, 6th. He's also $9,400 there. Tyrrell Hatton, 6th. $9,600. Looking at around the green stats. Benny Ann, Scotty, Fleetwood, the same dudes. You keep an eye on that. It's the same guys that have the best stats. Then it comes to putting. Hatton, Højgaard, Burns, Homa, Fleetwood. It's the same dudes. Okay. So I'll clear out the cheat sheet. Let's take a look at our best strokes gain stats, guys. Off the tee, let's see, I'll count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. We're looking at the top 19. Johnny Kiefer is honorable mention in 20th. I think we want to pick anybody that's over $8,000. Maybe even $7,900. Let's put it that way, because there's Christopher Wright in here, Alex Fitzpatrick. But outside of that, I think I just want golfers who are in the 8K range or above. Throwing that out there. 8K or above. I mean, there's Goddard. I think he'll be a fine choice. Xander, this could be, Xander's first win since the Zozo last year. Rory, Scotty, Rahm, Goddard, Siwoo Kim, Xander. Those are all of the golfers that are like 8K and above when it comes to off the tee. Approach. We get Tyrrell Hatton up there. Scotty's up there. Alex Fitzpatrick's up there. Kurt Kitayama. That's actually impressive. These are golfers I would probably target that I'd want to put in my lineups. There's Adam Scott, Victor Hovland, Patrick Reed. The one thing I did notice is maybe there was 1 or 2 golfers each year who had good approach, like the best approach in the field heading into the event, with terrible enough off the tee stats to not be inside the top 20, perform well. I didn't really see like a trend or anything that I could follow when it came to which golfers to pick, or like what kind of golfers to pick. So I'll leave it up to you guys. If you want to play anybody who's less than $8,000 from this list, be my guest. And I guess the other thing I'm also looking at is if they weren't at the top of the off the tee stats, but are at the top of the approach, I think you could pick one or two of those golfers. So like Patrick Reed, Andy Sullivan, probably not either of these golfers, but yeah, kind of what I'd consider. Around the green, we skipped this, right? We don't even care, but I think it's worth noting who the golfers are in this stat category, because I think the only successful ones that we saw were golfers that were also tops in other stat categories. I'm just gonna look at that. Let's just look every single year around the green. 8th place Scotty Scheffler was tops of off the tee and approach. Harry Hall was he was all right. So it was just only Scotty, but nobody really finished good enough. I mean, 88 points from Andrew Novak really only scored 1 point less than Scotty Scheffler. So Novak would work. All of his stats were positive though. All of them were positive. 2024, your best around the green golfers. We have Romain Langesque, who is also really good off the tee. Alex Noren, who is all stats positive. Yet again, did I just find my Mac Meisner? '23 Benny Ann, almost all stats positive. Would have been one of the top off the tee guys. Scotty, all things positive except for putting. Fleetwood, there's all of our stats positive. Rory has all the stats positive as well. So that seems to be a good trend. Let's take a look at our best around the green golfers that have all stats positive. Matt Fitzpatrick is one of them. Matty Fitzpatty. Oh my God, Justin Thomas is so close, but that's just bad enough to not care. Wyndham Clark is close with his off the tee stats. They were basically in the negative. Here we go. Scotty Scheffler, go figure. But outside of Scotty, it's Tommy Fleetwood. Tommy Fleetwood and Matt Fitzpatrick both have all stats positive, and they're the tops of the around the green. I think it's either or. You know what? I might do 33% of my lineups starting with either Matt Fitzpatrick, Tommy Fleetwood, or Scotty Scheffler. And maybe it's not even 33%. No, 30. I actually worded that correctly. 33% of my lineups. However, I think my exposures to both Fleetwood and Fitzpatrick are going to be higher. I might have them around 41%, and I'll let them pair up together a couple times. So yeah. Okay. I suppose that won't be 33% of my lineups, right? We'll figure out a way. We'll figure out a way to make it work. Okay. Going back to the cheat sheet, which we're already here. That was your around the green stats, and then putting largely doesn't matter. Largely doesn't matter. There might be one guy on here that we want to play. I mean, Scotty Scheffler is one of the best putters heading into this event. Are you insane? Oh my God. Huh. What did we see with the best putters with the lead in stats? What other things they had going for them? Positive around the green, positive approach. That's about it. That was in 2025. Only guy. 2024. Positive off the tee. Positive off the tee. Positive off the tee. Tyrrell Hatton. Positive off the tee. Nikolai Hergaard. Positive off the tee. Burns. Positive off the tee. Max Homa. Positive off the tee. Positive off the tee for Fleetwood. Only Burns had negative approach too, by the way. So all of them had positive approach. That's what we're looking for. Good night, Joanne. And good luck at the doctor's appointment. Okie dokie. Cheat sheet. So here we go. Here's all of our best putters. We're looking for positive off the tee. Paul Waring, don't care. David Puig. You need a reason to play David Puig. There you go. Jake Knapp. Richard Mansell. Richard Stern. Harris English. Bobby Mack. Marcel Siem. Scotty Scheffler. Alejandro Del Rey. Tommy Fleetwood. And of all these guys, who are all the stats that are positive? Well, we've got Fleetwood. All stats are positive. Clark is so close. Scotty Scheffler, all stats are positive. Marcel Siem, Stone Min, $6,000. For whatever reason, all of his stats are positive as well. Nope, nothing there for Bobby Mack, nothing there for Harris English. That's it. Fleetwood is looking like the guy that you could anchor all your lineups around and be just fine. I might do that, ladies and gentlemen. I might do that. Seems like a decent play. Yeah, seems like a really good play. What's going on, McGrath Motorsports? You know what? I think that's going to cover it for me for the lead-in stats. We'll go into the Marquee Tee Times and then start building some lineups. There was one other question of someone that was brand new. Are you still in the chat? John Isaac, are you still in the chat? Leader round 1. You're looking for first round leader? Let me know. If you're in the chat, I will answer that question. McGrath Motorsports, this is not over. Logan says I'm doing that with Tommy. I think it's the perfect time to do it. Was going to play Xander, but now I might switch to Fleetwood. Yeah, it looks pretty good, right? Hatton is in my lineup. I like M top 20 and top 10 Hatton, top 10 for Tommy. BMAC. You know what time it is, boys. Top 23 pick banger. Best bets, folks. Mike Kim, top 30. I'm working on multiple summer bucket systems right now. Primary focus has been MLB home runs specifically. 84 cash this year so far. That's cool. Play the tunes, bro. The lock music. I don't know. I don't have lock music. What are you talking about, pal? Unless you're talking about the sexy music that I like to do. To miss the cut parlay? Oh man. Shoot. I think I've given... Oh man, I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head who I would. Basically, everybody we just went through with buckets. And then also with the lead-in stats. If you didn't see certain golfers there, or if you did see certain golfers there that share anything with Scotty, those are probably the guys that I would say are going to miss the cut. It might be too soon. I mean, I might need to be building some lineups to see some names come across and be like, ooh, actually, that would be a really good play. You know what, BMAC? This might be the most disappointing week you're gonna get from me with top 20s and stuff like that. The cream kind of rises to the top at this event, so it's difficult to say you should play. Or you should parlay any of these top guys who would have good odds to make the cut, but like obviously good betting odds to miss the cut. I don't know. To miss the cut. I'm not really seeing anybody up top. But if you're doing a parlay, why don't you throw Justin Thomas in there? Wyndham Clark. I don't know. This is the least confident that I'm going to feel, period, when it comes to giving you top 20s or missed cuts. I really don't know. I don't have a very good feel for this tournament. I could throw out, I mean, I just threw out some names. Those are the names I'm going to go with. I don't know if you want to add anybody to those golfers. I think Tommy Fleetwood's my lock of the week. Matt Fitzpatrick is a close second. My other lock of the week is not playing Scottie Scheffler or not expecting to win anything by playing Scottie Scheffler lineups. I will play Scottie Scheffler. I'll put him in some contests that I'm hoping to win my money back, but he's not going to be in any of my like high price contests or anything like that. Just, I don't think I don't think you can get a good 6-6 lineup with Scottie. All right, moving on to the Marquee Tee Times. And then if you guys want lineups built, you know what? Let's go to the Marquee Tee Times first. As always, you can follow along with me using the cheat sheet that you can find by going to SweetSpotDFS.com under cheat sheet. Scroll a little bit down on the page till you click here. And then from here, you can apply filters on here. And we are looking under column O for the Marquee Tee Times. It's just the group rank as I call it, but those are the Marquee Tee Times. What we found out is 90% of the time, your GPP winning lineup and or optimal lineup will have 2 to 4 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times, and they won't be playing together. So check. Yeah, the whole process would tell us not to do that and not to do it very frequently. So I expected that bucket or that grouping right there producing at least 2 top 10s. And I think one of them is going to be Scottie Scheffler. Boy, I like Tommy Fleetwood, man. I'm liking Tommy Fleetwood all the more. The next group is McIlroy, Goddard, and Bobby Mack. Those are your 3 past champions playing in a group together. Boy, I couldn't think of 3 different types of characters, 3 different types of personalities. I don't even know how well this group is going to gel together. The next group is Oberg, Thomas, and Patrick Reed. The group after that is Shane Lowry, JJ Spawn, Aaron Rai. Then it is Xander Schauffele, Christopher Wrighton, Adam Scott. What an interesting group. Like, if I'm building Xander lineups, I'm not happy that I have to skip Christopher Wrighton and or Adam Scott. The group after that is John Rahm, Rasmus Højgaard, Alex Fitzpatrick. Makes me like Alex Fitzpatrick and Rasmus Højgaard that much more. I also don't mind playing John Rahm. The group after that is Harris English, Jordan Smith, Nick Taylor. Then it's Victor Hovland, Wyndham Clark, and Eugenio Lopez Chikara. Or Eugenio Chikara. Yeah. It makes me like Hovland more. I don't mind Chikara, especially at $7,600, but at the same time, you know what? Hold on. Hold that thought. I'm going to go through the last group, and that's Tyrrell Hatton, Alex Noren, and Casey Jarvis, a South African that Byron has loved in the past. Okay. Going back to Chikara. If we take a look at lead-in stats and just look at finish, 2025, Marco Penge, $7,000. He was coming in with basically no recent form because he wasn't playing on the PGA Tour. He's a DP World Tour guy playing good golf on the DP World Tour. That's one thing I want you to keep track of. So there's $7,000 there. $7,500 Nikolai Højgaard, another DP World Tour guy. So there's 2. 2024, Bobby Mack had already won the Canadian Open, but you have Romain Langesque, $5,800. stupid 5K range. So this is like 6K. Actually, I'm sorry. Adam Scott, $7,300. He actually doesn't really fit my mold. Romain Langesque is the guy that would. Let me go to the next here, and then I'll tell you what I'm really trying to do here. Bobby Mack, 2023, $7,400. He was not on the PGA Tour at that time. Ling Mirth, an old guy who played long time ago on the PGA Tour. Let's see, Nikolai Højgaard, but he was playing some PGA Tour events. Anyways, Bobby Mack, second in 2023. Marco Penge, second in 2025. 2024, not so great to look at. 2022... yeah, we don't really get the same type of golfer. I was just going to say Jamie Donaldson, but no, that doesn't work. Thomas Dietrich. There you go. Thomas Dietrich's perfect. $7,100. He bombed the ball. What did our other guys do? Bobby Mack, not so much. Yeah. Here's what I'm trying to get at. The 7K range. Finding a DP World Tour golfer that is kind of like an up-and-comer or has some really good skill. And I want it to be less than 74 or less. So we could look at someone like an Angel Iora or Iora. Maybe not. Matt Wallace at 7,300. Now he's known. Tom McKibben. Yeah, I guess it's looking at the guys with no recent form. Tom McKibben, Angel Iora. Could I actually include Victor Perez in there because he hasn't been on the PGA Tour for a long time? Coming down here, Daniel Hillier. That could be a guy. Or Casey Jarvis. It could be Casey Jarvis at $6,900. He actually kind of fits the mold. Henny Duplessis, maybe, or Plessis. I think that's how you say it. Henny Duplessis. Interesting. Maybe it's Tom McKibben. Maybe this is a Tom McKibben week. $7,200. It might be a Tom McKibben week. Yeah, it might be. All right, I'm going back to the Marquee Tee Times. If you guys are wanting to build lineups, find 2 to 4 golfers to build your lineups around. And I'll do that. Actually, for all the members, if you're going to be in my stream tomorrow, can we build lineups tomorrow? For all of the white tier members, those that are not white tier members, I will build your lineups tonight, but I'd rather get out of here sooner rather than later. And for those watching on replay, looking forward to lineups being built, if we don't build any tonight, I apologize. I am exhausted. I played 36 holes the last 2 days in 90-degree heat, walking. It was miserable. It was absolutely miserable. I'm just looking for a couple more confirmations. If you would like lineups built, give me 2 to 4 golfers you want me to build lineups around, and I will build you lineups. Fading Scotty and playing Rory. Bums in the cut. Rolling doobies up. I should be. So I got no other participants in the chat. Okay, here's what I'll do. For those that are following, that are watching this, and they're like, "Well, what the heck? I wanted to see lineups built." Using the optimizer, I'll just build some Scotty lineups so you guys can see what the optimizer chooses. It's literally going Scotty into 3 7Ks and 2 6Ks, which is okay. This lineup here is fine. It likes Jake Knapp quite a bit. I actually do like that lineup, but let me kick out Jake Knapp. Run some more. 78, 75, 71, 68, 68. I don't really want Ryan Gerard in my lineups. We'll move on. Scotty Kitayama. Oh, it goes 10, 8, 2 7s, 2 6s. This actually isn't too bad because Austin Eckroat's not a bad golfer. I also get Rasmus Højgaard in there. Don't really care about Alex Smalley, but that seems okay. AJ, you want lineups built tonight? Are you going to be on tomorrow for the members only? Scheffler, Kitayama, Thigala, Højgaard, Svensson, Mark Hubbard. That one's fine, but I don't really care that much for it. Another Kitayama lineup. Harry Hall could be that $7,300 golfer. Can you not see me, John Cena? I can see you. Can you not hear me? Anne Frank? It's not the right girl. Jesus Christ. Helen Keller. My bad. My bad. My bad. My bad. I'll be here tomorrow. Let's build lineups tomorrow. Scheffler, Lowry, Thigala, Meisner, Taylor Moore, Spenton. So I'll say this. The optimizer is favoring PGA Tour golfers over DP World Tour golfers. So if you want to boost any of these golfers up, you certainly can. So like Tom McKibben, I kind of just noted, I kind of like because he's in the 7K range that has been successful in the past. So I'm just boosting up his score so he'll be picked more. Jordan Smith should be picked more. Victor Perez probably won't be picked that much. Angel Ayora won't be picked that much, so let's boost him up as well. And if you request the optimizer, you can do the exact same thing. You get to play around with it however you would like. I'll even boost up Henny. Not going to do Shaper. And I'll just keep Casey Jarvis down there. All right, let's see what happens now. Bink. Wow, LOL after dark. Yeah, my bad. My bad. I think I was trying to think of a different deaf person who couldn't hear that's famous. And yeah, neither names were really at the top of the list, but somehow my brain reached for them. All right, so we get Scheffler, Kitayama, Højgaard, Stevens, Jesper Svensson, Chris Kirk. That one's actually not terrible. Not going to stick with it, though. This one's fine. And Kitayama, Højgaard, Ricky Castillo, Svensson, Echeverria. Come on. Reed, Pearson, Cootie, Rasmus Højgaard, Svensson, John Perry. Actually, I don't mind something like that. I will be honest, I don't like the Scheffler lineups that much. Especially like a Nakajima guy. No, thank you. EVR, no, thank you. Matti Schmid? I could get behind Matti Schmid. I just also don't like that lineup. Where's Sam Stevens? There he is. Okay, let's kick Sam Stevens out. And you got Scheffler, Lowry, Thigala, Højgaard, Kevin Yu. That's pretty good. All right. Well, let's say we don't like the Scotty Scheffler lineups. Fleetwood's my next choice. I like Fleetwood. So I'm just going to lock in Fleetwood and see who comes with him. Wyndham Clark. I'm going to say no. I don't want Wyndham Clark in my lineups. No, thank you. Fleetwood Goddard. That's fine. Kitayama, Reed, Knapp, Noren. Let's take it easy on Knapp. Okay. Fleetwood Goddard up again. Kitayama, English, Gerard, and Rasmus Højgaard. So I actually like Rasmus. I don't like Gerard. But Gerard's going to pop in this optimizer because he's got some good recent form. And if I don't want Goddard up, I'll kick him out. And let's see what else comes with Mr. Fleetwood. Fleetwood into Hovland, then Ty Hatton, Kitayama, Rasmus Højgaard, Sam Stevens. Again, I like Højgaard. I don't want Sam Stevens. And Kitayama is close-ish to me not wanting to play. Yeah, so a lineup like this looks fantastic. So much better than the Scotty Scheffler lineups. Fleetwood, Hatton, Kitayama, Højgaard, Scott, Højgaard. I get the Højgaard bros. Let's kick out Kitayama. Bring back Rasmus. Ooh, this is a close one. 3 AK golfers. Fleetwood, Tyrrell Hatton, Siwoo Kim, Nikolai Højgaard, Adam Scott, Rasmus Højgaard. I kind of like that lineup. Some of these I don't know. Some of this lineup building is just not, doesn't feel as good as it could. And then I build a lineup like this and absolutely love it. Fleetwood, Siwoo, English, Højgaard, Alex Fitzpatrick, Patrick Reed. That one felt pretty good. Is there anyone that's even in the 9 or the 10K range that I want to pair up with Fleetwood that just isn't getting paired up together with? I don't really care for that one. Fleetwood, McIntyre, JT, Nikolai, Lowry, and then Aldrich Potgieter. That's fine. Really doesn't want Oberg to be with Fleetwood. What if I make it? Or maybe I put Xander with Fleetwood. So if I go Ludwig, Fleetwood, then I get Nikolai, Shane Lowry, Adam Scott, and Max Grazerman, which is a fantastic lineup. Okay. That's good enough. Good enough. If you want the optimizer, request it through the website. If you want to see the members only stream tomorrow night, become a white tier member on YouTube. Just hit the little join button down below. Click on that and then yeah. Choose the white tier membership. It's $4.99 a month. That way you can watch the streams Wednesday nights and you'll also get lineups built for you if you want them. So that's it. With that being said, we'll keep this under 2 hours. Like I said, I'm exhausted. So I am going to head to bed. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Build some good lineups. Remember, lineup lock is early because this is overseas. Logan, I probably will build Brooks lineups sometime, but just not right now. Anyways, yep, I'll see you all tomorrow if you are a member. If not, I'll see you next week. Hope you find your bed. Yeah, no, I will. All right. We're going to do that. Thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next one.